Hey, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to launch this weekend. Lee Karaoke here. So, I wanted to literally just, first of all, walk you through what a co-work looks like and how I'm literally using it to actually run my workflows, right? So, the beauty about this, every time I open this, so I downloaded this desktop app, right? You could download it at, I believe I think if you just go to Claude.ai, you can definitely download the app, so that you can use it on your desktop, on your local machine, right? So what I like about this app is every morning when I open it up, it actually greets me. It's literally like an employee, right? So it'll greet me, hey, happy Friday. Oh, you're back, Lee. Oh, it has those conversational, humanistic salutations that I actually get every time I open up the app, which is pretty cool, right? And then it's personalized, so it remembers who I am. So I've created some workflows and we could talk about that. The first thing is definitely you have to add skills, right? You have to add skills, and then once you add those skills, now you can actually call all those skills and put them together and run like a workflow, because a workflow is literally, and when we talk about skills, is think of it like, hey, you have someone in HR, they have a very specific skill. You have someone in onboarding, they have a very specific skill. You have a graphic artist, he or she has a very specific skill. So you combine all these skills, you take each skill individually, upload it to Claude, right? And then you can now call on these skills individually, right, through workflows, so that now each skill is going to be called upon within the workflow. So I created multiple skills. I created a researcher. I created article writer. I created, so all these different skills, they have think of it like individual agents. They all have some skill sets. So, and the way these skill sets actually all come together is through a workflow. So I created this workflow. It's called Launch This Weekend, and all I have to do, I wanted to show you how it actually works, right? So I'll just come in and I'll tell it, hey, good morning. Let's run the Launch This Weekend workflow. And that's all I have to do, right? And then it already knows. So I've created, and I learned this from a friend of mine called Andre. He introduced me to, actually, here it is, plan weekend launch flow. So literally he introduced me to what is called Obsidian. So these workflows have to be stored in a place, and it'll generate, it's called an .md file, right? And .md file pretty much is, think of it like that's your SOP. That's your framework, right? So this .md file has to be stored somewhere where, hey, your local Claude can actually go to that .md file and pull it up, so that now it can call all these different agents to do very specific tasks. And you'll see, hey, good morning, let's run the Launch This Weekend workflow from Obsidian. And that's all I have to do, and then hit let's go. Actually, I'm going to use Opus, the latest one. I think that's the smartest one. And then let's just hit let's go and see the magic of how it loads. So it goes for the skills, starting up, and it's literally just telling me working on it. It's going through. So this is where the magic happens. Let me find the file up, and it pulls up the progress. Good morning, Lee, the LTW is loaded. Let me pull up the Obsidian Vault to see where we're working. And then definitely has these checks. Yeah, I'm pulling it up, working on it. Okay, launch this weekend. Starts with content intelligence directories. It's MCP just simply means that's the protocol where two apps are talking to each other. Before I fire up the researcher, run the pipeline, it'll ask me some questions. Should I build on the 3 existing stories from your content feed or scan mix? Yeah, so these are topics. How far through the pipeline do you want to go today? Let's do 10, right? And pipeline means, hey, I had researched some topics and then I gave it earlier. So actually, let's do full pipeline. Let's do the full pipeline as recommended. Okay. So the full pipeline just simply means, hey, there's a researcher. It comes up with content. There's a hook writer. It comes up with the hooks. And then it passes on to the creative queen. She comes up with the prompts for the images, and then the creative queen, once she gets the prompts for the images, she takes it over to Nano Banana, and then from Nano Banana it creates the actual images. writes out the article. Like literally, it just does everything a team would do, right? And sometimes what you have to do is you'll walk away, and it'll just execute. Sometimes it'll take a few minutes. But you can see all the different skills, right? So here's all you see. I have the researcher, I have the hook writer, I have the article writer, I have the queen creative, and then I have the meta buyer. But I don't know if we'll do the meta buying today, but because I already have a campaign going on. But literally, it's just end to end, right? And this would have been taken like a 10, at least five-person team, and it's now literally just doing everything, right? And it's running through it. It's going to, and the beauty it actually creates, and it's just based on the skill, it creates like variations. So it's walking me through, like it's telling me, it's the good thing about it is it's explaining its thinking, right? So it's talking to me and it's telling me, hey, this is what I need you to do. This is what is going to happen. I'm going through this. This is excellent material. This is what I've seen. So it's getting smarter and smarter. So, I think, and, when we talk about like AGI, right? Artificial General Intelligence, and that's the level where now it doesn't even need you to confirm. It's literally just like it's created a mind of its own. It's taking that initiative, right? Based on the outcomes, because it's much smarter and it knows exactly how to execute much faster. So I think like people are saying, oh, this AGI thing is going to be it's going to take like maybe with 3-4 hours tops. I think it's going to be faster than that, right? I think it's going to be here much faster than 3-4 years. It's literally, I think it's going to be much faster. Maybe by 2027. I already heard, like I was listening to a podcast today about Rakuten, and they put in Opus 4.6, which is the current model that I'm using. And they used it and it was able to run like a 50-man team, right? It went in, solved tickets, whatever. Like that is amazing, right? So I think the key thing is what I've gathered from this is that you have to start with agentic work first, right? So if you're like a knowledge worker or someone who really knows like the domain, and you're fearing, oh, this meta thing is, or not meta, this AI thing is literally going to replace me. I think the key thing is not to look at it as replacement, but look at it as how can you augment, like how can you concatenate or bolt on what AI is powerful and is capable of doing and embed it into your workflows, right? So I think that's where the real power is going to be. So you see, it's already writing these articles, You'll read these articles, by the way, if you go to my blog. And then make sure you sign up for launch this weekend, subscribe, and then make sure you also go so that you can see the outputs, what the outputs look like, what those images, like I'm blown away by the image. Just the images from Nano Banana using the prompts. This creative queen, gosh. And I gave her, because mostly she's very good at what she does, right? Very detail oriented. The images will blow you away. So, but this is in a nutshell, and you see it's checking off. Okay, we're done with the hook writer, right? We've done, and it's gone through, it's seen all the different topics I'd given it. It'll also do research, like I can use, and the way it works really is, you can either use the MCP, so Claude has its own MCP, and MCP, think of it like, it's like a translator. If I'm talking English, and you're talking Chinese, when we can't communicate, right? We need a translator. So that's the same way. Claude is a software by itself. It needs to talk to, let's say, YouTube or Google, because these are two different platforms, right? So it needs these two different platforms. You need an interpreter, and that interpreter is literally what the MCP does, right? MCP is, think of it like, MCP, it's the protocol. Don't ask me what those I know it's something control protocol, just like, internet, you have like, was it IP, right? Internet protocol, where you type in a domain address and that gives you, so just think of it like it's a translator where two softwares need to talk to each other and they need a translator. So like MCP Obsidian, that's a translator that translates what Claude Cowork is doing and what Obsidian has stored the workflow, right? And then these skills. So like literally, it's a beautiful thing. It's literally, these are like my employees, right? I don't even have to pay them, just electricity, and tokens, electricity and tokens, and they're working for me. I've never had employees, but now I have like five of them, right? So this is a beautiful thing, right? The write out is there. And then the way you connect, let's say like I had to connect my meta buyer, and the way I connect my meta buyer is through APIs, right? Through APIs. You can either use an API, or there's a script you can run. Some of them are apps. Like I had to go through a process. By the way, I'm not even a technical person. So I literally just asked the software, just go to the source. Ask software, hey, I need to connect my meta so I don't have to keep on, coming from Claude, going to meta. Is there a way we can just connect you so that you can actually go in and create campaigns and start testing those campaigns? And it said, sure, I'll walk you through. And I went, it took me exactly to so you use an app, you use a meta app, right? It takes you to the meta app, and then there's some technical HTML and JSON. Don't ask me what those are, but there's some files. It gives you some code. It tells you, hey, take it there, take it here, go to the terminal, do this, do that. But it's pretty straightforward. And then if you're lost or you feel like, if you feel like, gosh, this is too technical for me, I'm lost or I'm not getting the results that I desired, the easiest way, take a screenshot, share it. Tell it, this is what I'm seeing. Take a screenshot, share it. And that's how you get to learn, right? So now I remember I'm old school. I used to do coding back in the day using, we would use MS-DOS. Like, for those of you who know what MS-DOS is, it's like command line, right? And that was back in the day. I think this was, I had a Wang computer, right? And we would go in and code. I don't remember none of that stuff, right? CMD, MDKIR. I started seeing that, and it took me back in the day, right? Back in the days. I think it was in the late 80s and early 90s, right? MDKR, make a directory. So, but literally, Claude is going to walk you through. It's going to tell you, hey, this is what you ought to do. This is what you ought to do. This is what you ought to do. So, yeah, you don't have to master any of that, right? It'll tell you. And I know, right now, I think it's leveraged this whole, I need a coder. I need to wait for the developer. I'm stuck. I can't do this. I need the developer to do this. That is gone, man. The only thing you need right now more than anything is clarity of what the outcome will look like and be like. Because garbage in, garbage out, that will always still be the honest truth. But you really, really do need to be very clear on what outcome do you want, right? So, didn't that say we won't wait for the outcomes? It's still doing its thing. I'm seeing it's crossing out. It's at the meta one, right? It's created the actual prompts. Queen Creative, she's a beast. She's a beast. That's what I can tell you. She's a beast, right? She's a beast. You have to see those images. You have to see those images. But yeah, this is it. That's my workflow. You know what I mean? That is my workflow. And I'll let you know how everything unfolds. It looks like we're almost at the end. It's telling me, but the other thing I gotta tell you is that this thing chews up tokens like a nonsense, right? It chews up tokens. So, yeah, you gotta be careful. Make sure you go in. The other thing I'll definitely warn you is make sure you go in and manually disable. Make sure you tell it, hey, if you need to use more token, put a limit. I have $1 limit, right? Don't go, if I'm out of tokens, give me a pop-up will come up and it'll tell me, hey, I see it's already done. I thought we wouldn't even get it done by the end of this recording, but it's already done. This is amazing. Yeah, so next steps, when you're ready, generate the actual images from, go ahead. Nano banana. Yeah. So this is amazing, And I think it's only just going to get better. It's just going to get better. So these are the different workflows. Remember I talked about the skills? So these are the different workflows. And MCP, like I said, MCP is the way two softwares talk to each other, right? Check if, yeah, so it says it's connecting. Yeah. But these are the different, skills. So I have a launch this weekend workflow. Isn't set up in the machine, desktop. I thought I had connected it yesterday. But yeah, so I'll disconnect so I can actually troubleshoot. Do you have a Gemini API key? I need to configure. So I'll disconnect and then I'll show you what the outcomes look like. Thank you.